Most people speak to defend their ego. The elite speak to define the room. Today we deconstruct the 5-second pause, the psychological mechanism that shatters an aggressor's confidence before you even open your mouth. The anatomy of the attack. Imagine you are standing in a room where the air has suddenly turned heavy, an insult has been hurled, or a sharp interruption has severed your sentence mid-air. In that microsecond, your pulse quickens. Your mind screams for a retort, a witty comeback to reclaim your dignity. You feel the crushing weight of the social expectation to speak immediately. But in this frantic urge to react, you have already lost the most vital territory, your own peace. To master the room, we must first observe the chaos, detach from the noise, and adopt the ritual of strategic silence. The forensic autopsy of reaction. To understand why a 5-second pause is so devastating, we must perform a forensic autopsy on human behavior. When someone attempts to dominate you, they are testing your boundaries. This is the System 1 mistake. In our neural architecture, System 1 is the primal engine designed for survival, not high-status negotiation. When you are slighted, it floods your system with cortisol, demanding an immediate vocal response to defend your position. To the forensic observer, a quick retort is a signal of effective vulnerability. By speaking immediately, you prove the other person's words have enough mass to move you. You allow them to set the tempo of the interaction. The transition to sovereignty. Consider the cinematic archetype of figures like Thomas Shelby. Faced with a direct threat, he engages in a clinical detachment from the timeline. He looks, he breathes, he waits. By refusing to engage System 1, we force the encounter into the cold, analytical realm of System 2. In your stillness, the aggressor is forced to sit with their own words. They are made to witness their own lack of composure reflected in your calm. The silence acts as a vacuum, sucking the power out of their insult and leaving them to scramble for a way to fill the void they created. If you are ready to stop reacting and start observing, subscribe to join our circle of sovereignty. Let us move deeper into the architecture of the mind. The 5-second pause is not a lapse in judgment. It is a calculated architectural maneuver known as the provocative silence. To execute this effectively, you must master functional compartmentalization, the art of shifting emotional heat into a sterile chamber of the mind where it cannot touch your composure. In this mental vacuum, you remain untouched while the world around you begins to fray. Imagine the scene through a sharp chiaroscuro lens. The harsh light highlights the restless, frantic movement of your opponent's hands, while your silhouette remains perfectly still, carved from stone. This stillness is not passive. It is your primary armor. The progression of the silence is mathematical. By the second, the aggressor's heart rate begins its climb. By the third, their confidence erodes as their brain seeks a reaction that never comes. By the fourth, the power dynamic inverts entirely. This is the zero response. Communication is usually a rhythmic game of tennis. When you catch the ball and simply hold it, you shatter the rhythm of the exchange. In that vacuum, the aggressor begins to hear the echoes of their own voice. They realize, perhaps for the first time, how desperate and shrill they sounded. The provocative silence acts as a psychological mirror, reflecting their insecurity back to them with clinical, devastating precision. High-status individuals are historically noted for a lower flicker rate. By utilizing the pause, you demonstrate effective sovereignty, signaling that your internal state is governed by your own logic, not the room's noise. The person who initiated the attack is now the one feeling the desperate, itchy need to fix the situation. They may stammer, shuffle their feet, or look away, unable to withstand your unblinking observation. You have transitioned from the victim of an outburst to the silent judge of the attacker's performance. This waiting is a form of post-heroic leadership. You are managing the environment by refusing to be managed by it. In the world of Nordic noir, the hero is the one who says the least, but sees the most. With every tick of the clock, your status rises while theirs undergoes rapid entropic decay. By the time you finally choose to speak, your voice carries 10 times the weight it would have had you reacted instantly. You don't just win the argument, you dissolve the opposition. True power is observed in the stillness. Share a moment in the comments where silence was your greatest weapon. Let us analyze the physics of the pause together. The narrative continues. The gravity of stillness, mastering affective sovereignty. When the fifth second dissolves into the sixth, you finally speak. But the person you are speaking to has already been dismantled. By refusing the frantic exchange of high-energy defense, you have moved the goalpost from winning the argument to governing the environment. This is the shift to affective sovereignty. Most people operate under the heroic model, the frantic belief that power requires constant, visible action. They react, they retort, and they leak energy. But true power is gravitational. Like a celestial body with immense mass, you exist with such density that the entire room begins to orbit around your silence. The pause is not a hesitation. It is your declaration of independence. When you eventually deliver a calm question or a detached observation, it doesn't land like a rebuttal. It lands like a gavel. To the observer, your words are seen as the product of deep System 2 processing rather than a reflexive lizard brain twitch. You are no longer participating in the chaos. You are presiding over it. The post-heroic shift. In this state of post-heroic leadership, you realize a fundamental truth. An insult only requires a defense if it has the capacity to wound your ego. By choosing the deliberate pause, you signal, without saying a word, that the attack was too insignificant to warrant immediate vocalization. You haven't crushed the other person through force. You have simply made their aggression look like a clumsy error in judgment. You have held up a mirror of stillness that reflects their own instability back at them. As you master this ritual, a shift occurs in your social ecosystem. Calculated speech. People will begin to speak more carefully in your presence, weighing their words before they hit the air. Perceived authority. They will sense the clinical noir stillness you carry, a quiet authority that doesn't need to be announced or defended. Foundational influence. The silence is no longer a gap or a void. It is the very foundation of your influence. You have found a sovereign peace that exists entirely independently of the noise surrounding you. You are the eye of the storm, motionless while the world spins. As we step back from the mechanics of the pause, we find something far deeper than a tactical social trick. We find a path to a more profound, internal quiet. In the post-heroic model, influence is not a performance you put on for others, but a state of being you cultivate for yourself. By mastering the silence between the noise, you reclaim your own narrative. You find that calm, unshakable authority that comes from a single, undeniable realization. You are truly the master of your own world, and no amount of outside noise can tip your scales.